Hello, Spring Valley Grizzlies. I am the host and the owner of the Spring Valley High School podcast. I just want to let you guys know there will be a few clicks here and there because I'm going to address some things about what happened in the 2019 school year and the year overall in America. I will be addressing articles and I will also be addressing other incidents that happened in 2019 in America. So let me just start who I am, who I became to be. My name is Sima. I'm a sophomore in Spring Valley High School, and I just started wanting to make a podcast because there was no podcast in Spring Valley High School. I started this as a little personal project and I was like, okay, I've seen podcasts on YouTube, on YouTube, on SoundCloud, on even in my country where I'm from, Morocco. There's a lot of podcasts there. So I was like, okay, since I have a personal project, why can't I start a podcast in the high school itself as just a starter? And I have right now 53 Instagram followers, and I'm going to start off my YouTube channel. So this whole podcast is something that wants to affect the whole students of Spring Valley High School, to see who they can relate to see who can be open, to see like, oh, this person is right, oh my gosh, to have controversial conversations. I do want to address one more thing. This podcast is no in order intent to bully students or to threaten students or any type of way to make feel the students in a very negative way. This podcast is a way to have controversial ideas, topics, and etc. to other students. So I'm going to start off the podcast because today it is 4:41, 12/30, 2019. And in the future I will be posting this as the first episode of the Spring Valley High School podcast. Anyways, let's get that out of the way. I just want to address what was 2019 like, not just in the school year, but also in America itself. So I just want to address the articles I will be using. I will be using 2019 Wikipedia. I will be using YouTube videos from Spill, PewDiePie, and also many channels. I will link them in, and I will give credit to them. So what was 2019 like? 2019 for America and was a very negative controversial in my opinion on what was 2019. We had a lot of issues, but also a lot of positives too. In my opinion, 2018 was a very, I don't know how to say this, but a very uneven year. So practically 2019, there was also positives and negatives. I already addressed that. But in my opinion, 2019 was not a decent year for me. I did meet new friends. I did meet other people. I was very open towards people. But inside of me, I just was like, okay, yeah, 2019 wasn't the year for me. It might be the year for others, but in my opinion, it wasn't. And also it wasn't some others either in 2019. So I'm just going to start off with the positives of 2019 year. So the positives of 2019 was, in my opinion, was decent. It was really good. We had mostly Americans and also other people around the world. They have all they were all conjoined together. They helped one another, and they also helped others in a different perspectives of the world. but there were also negatives too, which I will get to that later. So, in my opinion, we're going to start off the pros and cons of 2019. What were the pros of 2019? So, I am going to state the article. In the YouTube video of Mr. Beast, many students in Spring Valley High School has addressed to me that Mr. Beast is considered one of the most very positive attractions to many students and also to America itself. And I didn't know who Mr. Beast was, but as soon as I saw his YouTube channel, I was I was like, wow, that's very cool. The fact that he's like giving away money, he's helping others, and and of course he gains money from it, but the fact that he just gives away, he plants 20 million trees, it's very amazing to me, and it just opened my eyes to humanity, and was like, wow, okay, we have a few people that actually exist in here that I was like, oh my gosh, it's great, it's amazing. Also, I'm going to address the fact that Mr. Beast and other YouTubers, for example, PewDiePie, Markiplier, and Jacksepticeye, they all came together, each and one another, and decided to support each other. How do I say it? Support each other's companions. They support each other's. My apologies. This is the first podcast, so technically they support each other. That's what I'm saying. They did not just support each other, but they support America as well, even though some people live in different types of ways. For example, in 2019, it was a really great year. I'm going to say that it wasn't a great year for me, but it must have been a great year for you guys or some of you guys. But of course, there were a bit of downloads, but I'm still in a positive way. For example, there was a controversy between, you can skip this if you want, but here's my example, PewDiePie versus T-Series. I never knew anything about this until like it started really great. So I only learned about this until it blew up somewhere between like before April, like March or February. So technically, PewDiePie vs. T-Series, according to Wikipedia, was an online competition between two YouTube channels, PewDiePie and T-Series, for the title of the most subscribed channel on YouTube, which was won by T-Series, of course. I don't care about any of that. Okay, so what was PewDiePie versus T-Series? So technically, T-Series and PewDiePie, they have a substantial amount of subscribers. For example, right at the moment, T-Series has 107 million, for example, subscribers, and PewDiePie at the moment has 102, according to YouTube's statistic data. So the thing is, what really caught my attention is how many people from different around the world, especially, just came to support PewDiePie. Just came to support doing rallies, taking over billboards, paying, donating to other YouTubers, saying, hey, subscribe to PewDiePie. And it was really amazing how people just got to each other and just helped one another just to support this area. I was very surprised. I was very shocked because this all started in 2018, but of course it had to end it early. I was hoping it would not end, but it ended. Right at the moment, again, in my opinion, was really great. PewDiePie versus T-Series, I was only there for a bit, for March or February. After that, it just got a bit boring for me. It got a bit too much for me. Um, that was one of the positive 2019 era. Here is one. So, according, oh my gosh, my apologies, because if you go to the 2019 Wikipedia, you will see there's so much negative, controversial information of what happened in 2019. And it's very sad. It is very, very sad. So, in my opinion, there were a lot of positives, but of course the positives has to end in 2019 in a very wrong way. So, this part will get a little bit depressing, so if you want to skip, then go ahead. In 2019, I'm going to start with one of the biggest issues. I'm not going to put in politics in here because it's very like, to me it's contraband. It's like people are just getting way over negativity, and no, I just don't want that to happen, especially in this podcast. In my opinion, 2019, of course, was not a good year to me. I've had to endure many things that happened in my life, and also people in America and around the world had to endure it too. I just want to leave a disclaimer. This part will lead to things about, we will have controversial stuff about mental health, suicide, violence, and sexual assault. I'm very sorry. If you don't want to hear this, you can click away right now. And I'm going to, of course, leave everything in the link in the description. So let's start off with January of 2019. What was January 2019? January for me was okay. It was boring. I didn't care about what was happening, but it was boring. But in world, there was a lot of things that happened. For example, January 17th, according to Wikipedia events, a vehicle-bound suicide bomb attack in Colombia kills 22 people and injures 68 others, making it the deadliest attack on the Colombian capital since 2003. And this has happened in 2019 in January, just as soon as 2019 year started. January 25th, a mine tailings dam breaks in the Brazilian city of Brumadinho in the state of Minas Gerais. I'm sorry, I don't have a Spanish accent, I only have a Moroccan one. Back to the topic. At least 248 people are killed, with 22 missing. January 27th, 2 bombs at the Cathedral of Our Lady of Mount Carmel in Jolo, Philippines, kill at least 20 people and leave more than 100 others injured. February 13th, a suicide bomb attack on a vehicle kills at least 27 Revolutionary Guards in southeastern Iran. It is one of the deadliest terrorist attacks in Iran in years. In March, an unmanned demonstration flight of a new capable version of the SpaceX spacecrafts, intended to carry American astronauts into space, achieved successful autonomous with the International Space Station. This was one of the most shocking things that happened. this is actually one of the positive things that happened in March in 2019. The fact that we have, like, it was so successful, many astronauts are in space at the time, and now they partners with International Space Station. It was very shocking because in my country we never experienced that. And I just want to mention this: even though there's a lot of negative, there will be a positive in each one of the negative, if you know what I mean. For example, back in the past 2 months in 2019, February 27th, February 27th all the way back to February 1st, and January 28th all the way back to January 1st, there are some negative controversies, but of course there will be positive ones. We all come together as a human society to help each one another. I just want you guys to know, if there's something wrong, if there's any issues at all, just talk to each other, talk to one another, get help the way you need. Back to the topic. Now my apologies. This had affected me emotionally back in March. On March 15th, 51 people are killed and 50 others injured in terrorist attacks on two mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand, Al Noor Mosque and Linwood Islamic Center, both of which were the target of shootings by Australia-born Brenton Harrison Tarrant. That guy is disgusting. It is the deadliest mass shooting and terrorist attack in New Zealand's history, and described by Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, my apologies if I said her name wrong, as one of New Zealand's darkest days. Facebook announced that they had disabled 1.5 million videos of the gunman's rampage. This affected me emotionally. I'm going to tell you why. I'm not going to say what my religion is. The thing is, many people know what my religion is, and I'm not going to state it in here. In March 15th, it was one of the shockiest days of my life because I didn't know anyone who lived in New Zealand. The only people I know mostly lived in Europe. So technically, when I saw this on YouTube and I saw this on pretty much any social media you can imagine, you would think that I watched the news. But no, I did not watch the news on what happened in New Zealand of the Christchurch terrorist attack. For some reason, I watched one of the videos that the gunman posted or put on live stream. Many people decided to repost it on YouTube, and that's where I found it. I only watched at least 1 minute of it, and I knew what was going to happen. So, of course, I was so disgusted by it. Most of the videos are down at the moment, but news reporters use that video as an example of what he did and what happened. So I knew what was going to happen as soon as I saw that video, because if you expect something to put on live stream, it's bound to get posted all over. There's that one person that records the live streams and then posts it all over the internet. So, in my opinion, this was one of the most... I'm so sorry. This was one of the most saddest events in my life. The thing is, remember that I mentioned about the PewDiePie versus T series. Even though there was a lot of positive events during that moment, this was the main reason why it ended. The Christchurch terrorists decided to specifically say, subscribe to PewDiePie. And therefore, PewDiePie, he reacted to this on Twitter, saying to the fact that he's disgusted and he gives his condolences to his family. And it was a very sad time. So he posted a video on YouTube saying that he wants to end, or he is going to end the subscribe to PewDiePie meme or movement, and that's what happened. He ended it. So technically, he said specifically that there was that someone painted, his own words, that someone painted on a World War II memorial saying subscribe to PewDiePie. He was very disgusted by that, and he said, okay, that's not good. It's a negative part of way to not just address his name, but to also people on what America is. Then someone decided to hack printers. I watched a BBC video on YouTube, and also I've read a BBC article. It states to the fact. My apologies, I have to stop there. If you guys want to hear a part 2 of what 2019 was overall like, please DM me on any social media platform that the Spring Valley High School podcast has. If you have any suggestions, any advice columns, again, DM me or email me. Yes, thank you guys for listening to me, and hopefully I won't stutter again or keep on saying most of the times. Again, I will post a part 2 if I want, but it will depend due to the fact that, again, 12/30/2019, so it's like 12-30/2019. I hope every single one of you Grizzlies have a good night or a good day or good morning, and hopefully that you guys are having a good life. If you guys need to talk to someone or anyone at the particular, talk to someone that you need help from. And if you need help, again, talk to someone. Everyone can relate. Goodbye, guys.